Hey everybody, welcome back. We got a little bit of a different kind of video that we're doing today. I'm going to talk about the new record day models that we've been working on and give you guys an update on these because I know I get asked about them a lot. I know you've seen them in the videos that Ron and I shoot. These are always kind of in the background. Ron's had the bigger models in the background here lately, and he's used them in some comparisons of some DACs and different things like that. And the production of these things has drawn out a lot longer than I had hoped, and there's a lot of factors involved in the delays that we've had, but we're getting very close. And I just want to give you guys kind of a play-by-play where we are and when you can expect to be able to order these things. So we built out finished pairs and really spent a lot of time listening to these things and critiquing and thinking about, and do I change anything, and a whole bunch of things went on there. Especially when we went from this first model, which we've really listened to a lot, to the taller model over here, the full floor standing version. And then there was the delays of the tariffs. Remember I told you guys these are built here in the US. We're going to assemble all of these right here. So we have quality control over everything, match the parts, you name it. But not everything can come from here. The cabinets are coming from a big manufacturer over in China that makes cabinets for a huge portion of the industry. They're one of the top cabinet makers, and they did a fantastic job. I've got this model here that's black with the walnut. We've got a version that is a dark gray, which is darker gray than what this one over here is. This was a lighter gray. We went with a darker with the rosewood sides, and then we've got a white base with the maple sides. And these cabinets for the first model have just arrived. They're here. I've got 100 pairs of them in stock. I can't wait to start putting these things together, but we're still waiting on a few things. I had an issue that we decided to resolve that involved the little LGK driver, actually. The adhesive that's used to hold the surround to the cone, we realized was temperature sensitive. So when I'm taking measurements of the things in the shop and it's, 78 degrees or something in there, it looks beautiful, flat line. But if it gets cold, the the density changes of it when it gets cold, and it creates a little peak right around 2K. There's a little bit of a 1.5 dB peak, depending on how cold it is. If you take a hairdryer or something and wave it across it, now it's heated up, and instead of a little peak there, there's a little dipped area. So it's too temperature sensitive, and I wanted that resolved. I don't want these going out and somebody saying, well, they've got a peak, a dip. No, that needed to be resolved. So we've come up with a solution. We've got some more drivers being made now. We've got it to where no matter what the temperature is, it measures flat all the way every time. So we're waiting on more of those to arrive, and I'm going to have a bunch of them air freighted in so that I have them here ready. Also, we waited until the crossover and everything was finalized before finalizing the design for the circuit board. I'm having really high quality circuit boards made with thick copper traces on these things so that we can assemble all the parts and drop it into this thing and have room for the harp device that we're putting inside these things and go through the assembly a lot faster. And it's a little thicker copper traces than what's normally seen on a circuit board. So they're nicely done. And I've got some photos of those. Maybe Ron can edit in some of the photos as I'm going on about it. This one, the whole circuit is on one board. It mounts in the bottom of the cabinet. We had to split the circuit board on the taller model. The upper section there is mounted on the back wall, and the crossover for the lower woofer is down in the bottom. So we had to split it on two boards because there's bracing all through this thing. And when you have bracing, this far apart all the way through the cabinet, it limits your space all around to mount stuff. So we had to get a little crafty, and we split them on two boards. But as you can see in the photos too, parts quality is top level. Super nice. All the coils are made here in the U.S. High purity copper from U.S. Coils. We've got Sonic caps that are in line directly with the upper driver. We've got the JB poly caps with bypass caps on the lower woofers. And we even arranged for spots on the board for bypass caps so we can go in and we could flavor it if we want. We could drop in a copper foil cap or do something crazy if we wanted to. So all of those caps positions have bypass caps available there. So we had to wait on that stuff. Crossover boards are now complete, and they've sent me samples, and they can have hundreds of these things made for me as soon as I give them the thumbs up, and we'll air freight those in. So we're getting close on this first model, and we're going to try to get these out there and fill orders. There's a lot of people in line, on a waiting list, waiting for these things. And then the cabinets for the taller models are still probably several months out. And then there's the trip across the ocean and the clearance through customs and all that fun stuff. So before the end of the year, we'll have both models available, but we're going to hit the ground running with these first. The other thing that you've seen Ron and I kick around a lot was, what are we going to name these things? And I threw this kind of in Ron's lap, and I just kind of left him with it. And he picked up great names, but there were names that the industry's already used, and our industry has so covered all of the names of things that you could think of that would relate to the speakers. And I was in here one day, here in the sound shed, which is where I am now, obviously. And I said, Ron, we got to figure out some names that no one can take from us. I'm just going to name them after my grandkids. And I said, we'll just name them Allie and Maddie. And he looked at me and he said, I like that. That just feels right. And so those are the nicknames. Those are not the actual names, but they're the names that my grandkids are called, Allie and Maddie. And I know Allie's the older one if she's watching. And she'll think she has to have the bigger model because she's the biggest butt. Allie came first, and this is the first model. And Maddie came second, so Maddie gets the bigger model. So it evens out. It evens out. So it seemed to fit. We were calling this the Ariel, and we're like, and it was almost the same. The Allie and the Maddie. So those are names no one can take away from us. And it seems to kind of fit, and I'm good with it. So those are the two names for those things. Now, next I'm gonna get Ron behind the camera here, and I'll let him talk about some of the other things that we've done, maybe some of the more subjective things, and then we'll sit down and just talk about what it is about these speakers that we're really happy about. Like, how are they different from other types of speakers? And obviously a lot of it is the wideband driver, the time and phase coherency of it, because this driver is covering such a wide range, and then the fact that there's another driver on the back, and I'm going to show you this. Also, look at the shape of the speaker. It's not just a straight up and down speaker. Hopefully you can see it. And in the back, there's an LGK driver on the back. You see the tube connectors there and the port on the back. The bigger model's the same way. It's got another LGK on the back. What it does, it creates that sound like an open baffle. It kind of throws the sound within the room, and it makes vocals sound like they're right there in front of you, in front of the wall, but deep, and not just center focused, but three-dimensionally there, kind of is what the effect is. And so it just works really well, and it creates a three-dimensional sound. And so it works, and we'll talk about that a little more. Let me get this back on the stand. I'm going to turn things back over to Ron.
All right, so by far the most difficult thing about these speakers was naming them. And
it's tough.
That moment when Danny said, what about Allie and Maddie? It hit me in the heart, man. I was just like, that is such a sweet, homage to your grandkids. It just felt right. There was something about it. It was like, that feels right.
Yeah.
And so now we can move past
names. He laughed.
And
I said Ariel earlier instead of Aria.
Yeah, you said Ariel.
Yeah.
So these are the Little Mermaid speakers here.
Yeah, the Little Mermaid speakers. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. I would start by saying that you're right, subjectively, talking about a lot of things that are subjective. All of this summer, throughout the entire summer, I've had these set up.
Yeah.
Every single time that you've come over just to stop by to say hi, these speakers are set up, and I can't stop listening to them.
I know, I'm the same way at my house. So I have the luxury of listening to anything, and people come over all the time. They're like, I want to hear Bullies, I want to hear In Extremes, and we swap things in and out there in my listening room all the time. And then when they're all gone, I put one of these pair right back in, because I'm just so drawn into the sound. It's so more just seductive in the way it just pulls you in. It just seems more natural. I enjoy it, and I'm willing to give up the detail of the planar magnetic tweeters that are in some of my other models. I'm willing to give up
the scale of the extremes,
the scale of the big end
Right.
extremes with the dynamics are out the wazoo, you know.
Yeah.
And the hard hitting bass of some of the big stuff, like from the Bully and the Brute and things like these. These are just an intimate speaker, and it's just more real. No matter what we listen to, it's just I keep coming right back to him, and he's the same way. He's reviewing stuff all the time too. So every time I come in here, there's stuff all moved around. But
Yeah.
since I brought these speakers over, I was like,
They've been cemented.
they've been pretty well used in everything, and they sound just like these, but just they go down deeper.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that because Danny invited me over to his place to hear these for the very first time,
It was funny.
and it was funny. He played a track that we always play. It's a Toto track. I forget the name of the song.
I will remember. Or
I
something.
will remember. That's it. Big drums, big tom toms and floor toms.
Very percussion, big sound.
And he played it for me, and I didn't think for even a second that Danny was trying to get me with like any of these old tricks that we all play on our audiophile buddies. I thought he was playing these speakers with the subs on. And we play most of the song, you stop, and you're just like, so what do you think? I was like, dude, that was bad to the bone. And he's like, the subs aren't on.
I know.
And I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yep.
Like, I couldn't.
They pound those drum hits and stuff so fast and so clean, and it's tuned a lot lower. These are tuned to like 53 or 54 or something like that, and these are tuned down to like 36 hertz, and they've got solid output. Even in Ron's room, Ron has kind of a suck out in that area in his room at the bottom, and
Yeah.
so we're not getting to hear exactly or see in the measurement and the in-room response what we feel like we're hearing or what we heard at my house. But I'm going to say 3 dB down is going to be mid 40s.
Mid 40s, yeah.
Upper 40s. It's going to be somewhere in that range. So you could definitely play a lot of music without ever turning a sub on with these speakers, even though it's a single 6.5. I'm kind of bringing the whole top end out of the 6.5 down and matching it to the sensitivity of the LGK driver, but that's kind of leaving the bottom end alone. And the cabinets are just super solid. There's 2 layers of MDF, and they're just braced like crazy, and there's no resol inside, and there's just no cabinet noise.
Yeah.
And it's quite, it's hard to describe. You take away the cabinet noise, even when you think, oh, I've got good speakers, they're braced, they're not making noise, and then you listen to something that is super solid and no noise, and you think, wow, there's still differences there. There's still a lot of difference there. It's really tight, controlled bass. It's really impressive.
Yeah, the DNA of the speakers is intact. Going from, Allie to Maddie, the speaker formerly known as Aria, Alpha 1, and now finally Allie.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that I wasn't nervous about it. I mean, you're not the kind of designer that's like, and here's this house sound, and here's this house sound. It's like there's some consistency, right? So, I didn't know totally what to expect, but the thing that I didn't expect, knowing the Encores and how they sound, using that same woofer in half the space, right, around roughly half that space, it blows my mind when you give that woofer that much room, how much more complete it sounds.
I know.
It sounds so much more. It likes it a lot.
It liked it a lot.
Like, wow.
Like, man, the bass is clean sounding, man.
Yeah, so the DNA of the speakers is intact, and there's no compromise with what really matters with this design going from that to that. Right. I mean, the goal in this was, hey, this is for folks that have subs and they want a monitor for whatever reason.
Right.
But this is for somebody that either A, might not have subs or the space to bring in subs, or they just want a more simple, elegant solution.
Yeah.
And all you were trying to do was just give us a little bit more bass, but I feel like we got more than just a little bass. Like, wow.
Yeah, it really gets down there. It really does.
Yeah. It digs in deep.
And the quality of the bass.
Oh, yeah.
Is really surprising. And I mean, I've used this driver in a lot of designs, and this is the best box that I've had it in as far as putting it in this heavy a box and tuning it down that low. It just, man, it liked it a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've had some fun with these things, and I'm really excited to get these things out there and get finished pairs ready that you guys can look at and say, I want that color or I want that color, and we can start getting these shipped out. And it's coming. I know it's been a little bit of a wait, but it's coming and it's going to be worth it.
Yeah.
And anybody who's come and visited, and they've actually got to listen to these things, they've had the exact same reaction that we've had.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like we're just trying to pump up this stuff. Everybody that walks in, just even Big J, when Big J came over, he's sat dumbfounded listening to these, and he said, man, he says, these really have some potential. It's like, man, I want these in my system, man.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll send Big J some of these when he gets there. He's working on a new room.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's moving to Texas.
How about that?
Yeah, I know where. I don't think he's announced it yet. But
Let's give everybody his address.
I don't have his address, but I know where in Texas he's moving. But yeah, we're having some fun with these things, and again, can't wait to get these out there.
That has been the biggest testament of these speakers, in my opinion, is, you know, right before summer hit, I had a number of different visitors come into the shed, and you had a number of different visitors, whether it was, you know, folks that were coming to Southwest Audio Fest or whatever the case may be. I was hosting a lot of folks and spending time with guests coming into the shed, and that invitation is still open. You just got to email me, let me know, we'll arrange it, you come in here. And for me, the biggest testament is I always sit in that chair back there by that desk, and they're in the listening position, and the reaction has been identical every single time. Is there's a moment where they just turn and they look at me, and they're just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like they can't wrap their head around what it is that they're actually hearing.
Yeah. There's so much of, I think, that's part of the time and phase coherency of everything arriving perfectly in time, and that one driver covering that whole wide range, that it just places everything in space so perfectly that it doesn't disrupt the signal, and things are layered front to back so perfectly.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. You know, it's just another level that you don't expect. Even when you think, oh, I got speakers that image well. I've heard speakers that image, and I've got a lot of speakers that image well, and I really focus on imaging and soundstage layering. This is a different level.
Yeah.
It's just a whole different level of class. And
yeah. I've always thought that I knew what a really cohesive speaker sounds like, and then I heard these, and it's
I'm
like
the same way, and I've been doing this for years.
Like, this is what it actually really sounds like. And, you know, we keep coming back to, like, you know, this is the basics. This is 101 of hi-fi, is what does the mid-band sound like, and what does the vocals sound like, and what does that delivery sound like. And, man, there's so much stuff that I've heard 1,000 times, you know, and it's just like hearing it for the first time with these speakers, that vocal that's just right up to the mic, and you have this projection that's coming from that vocal that is, it's jarring because it's like they're literally in the room with you. It's so crazy to hear it, that it's so cohesive and so real and so put together that, you know, we use these buzzwords, especially reviewers, like, oh, it's three-dimensional. It's like, no, this actually does sound truly three-dimensional.
Yeah.
And when you hear it, it's jarring. It's like, wow. It's like the first time you heard Danzig, you know, and you're just like, what is...
I know. I'll still never forget when we did that. We're playing all kinds of music, and
Mother.
we played Danzig, and it was freaky. Like, that dude is in the room.
He's in the room. It's eerie.
It is really eerie.
Yeah. Well, you made some amazing speakers, my friend.
Hey, man, it's all your fault.
Yeah. So,
you asked for it, so.
Yeah. So.
And I liked what he asked for. I was already thinking the same thing, so I was like, I can run with this.
Yeah.
I can take this driver, and I can do a lot with this driver, and so.
And you did a lot with this driver.
And a lot of other things came into play. That harp device.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
That's another thing that really improved image focus.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, you guys will get to hear them pretty soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
And if you're in a hurry, just make a little trip over, and you can come hear them in my room or Ron's room.
Absolutely. Yeah, you guys are always welcome.
Okay.
So, cool. We'll see you guys in the next video.